Hello, everyone. We are live at 5. It's Tuesday, August 21st. I am Paul Wontorek.
And I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And over there, we have Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello.
And over there,
we have somebody very exciting to talk to. Lisa Brescia
Yes.
from Hansen is here with us.
back
Yes.
on Broadway.
Absolutely.
Heidi Hansen. So excited she's here. But first, today's top 5.
The diner is opening up in London.
That's right. Waitress is headed over to the West End in the spring of 2019. It will open at the Adelphi Theater.
Adelphi, I
Adelphi
believe.
Theater. I apologize. Thank
Whatever.
you. Yeah, so it's headed over there. Diane Paulus will repeat her duties as director, as well as Lauren Lataro as choreographer. Once again, the show will have an all-female creative team, which was a big point that they pushed when it was
Right.
moving here to Broadway. Of course, it features a score by Sarah Bareilles and a book by Jesse Nelson. The rest of the creative team, cast, and everything else will be announced at a later date, including specific dates for the show at that theater. But of course, you can still see Waitress here, and you can see Waitress on tour as well. But way to go, the West End. You have an amazing musical coming your way.
Waitress everywhere.
I'm a big fan.
Maybe
Yes.
what about a Waitress movie musical? You'd be there for that.
Oh, absolutely. If it just went like the whole Hairspray route, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just throwing
Anything.
it
I'll
out
take
there.
all the Waitress that I
Take
can
it.
get.
Always. And a Broadway alum is coming back to the stage for a New York premiere work.
Yes, so Hunter Parrish.
Real
who-
cutie patootie.
Cutie patootie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quote.
Yeah.
You can put that on the marquee. Hunter Parrish was Jesus.
He was Jesus.
Godspell.
Yeah, absolutely.
In
yeah.
Godspell at the Circle on the Square. And he was also in Spring Awakening.
He was.
He's fantastic.
He's so
and
good.
he is a really nice guy. He's coming back. He will be off Broadway in a new play called Good Grief.
Good grief.
It's not
Charlie
about Charlie
Brown.
Brown. It's
No.
about a first-generation Nigerian American as she navigates Pennsylvania's suburbs alongside her childhood crush, would-be philosopher brother, and immigrant parents.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds
It's a brand new play at the Vineyard Theater, written by and co-starring
Yep.
Nagazi and Yanwu.
I think so.
Actually, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Best attempt. Best
Love it.
attempt. Previews start October
We'll learn
11th.
it.
Opening is set for October 30th. Welcome back, Hunter Parrish. Can't wait to see you.
Amazing. And Ordinary Days has no ordinary cast.
That's right. Whitney Basher, along with Mark De La Cruz, Kyle Sherman, and 2013 Jimmy Award winner Sarah Lynn Marion will be starring in the revival of Adam Gowen's 2009 musical Ordinary Days. This is happening at the Clermont Theater at Theater Row. It'll begin previews on October 2nd and will open on October 17th and will play through November 17th. Ordinary Days tells the story of 4 young New Yorkers whose lives intersect in unexpected ways as they search for success, happiness, and love. That's all of our story here in New York City, isn't it?
I feel like that's
Unexpected
never
ways.
happened to me.
Absolutely.
Unexpected way.
That's 4-person cast, revival of a musical this fall. Very exciting.
Just go see it.
Yeah.
Go see it.
And a Broadway legend is getting an awesome honor.
Hey, Bernadette Peters. Congratulations.
Bernadette Peters.
You're being toasted.
We love her.
We love toasting Bernadette
do.
Peters. So Manhattan Theater Club, Bernadette Peters has a long history with Manhattan Theater Club, actually.
Yeah.
If you go to, where did I see, is it at the, where they have pictures of their old productions? Anyway, you see like Bernadette Peters is in a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of,
If you go into,
at City Center, is it there?
Yes,
the
yes,
old, yeah.
yes. Yep.
Anyway. So that's how I knew she had a long history, because I've seen her in these photos. Anyway, she'll be honored at their fall benefit, November 19th, which will be at 583 Park Avenue. If you have a lot of money, you should buy a table. I mean, this is like a fancy,
absolutely.
schmancy event.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
on the board of MTC, and it'll be great. November 19th at 7 p.m.
And she
So,
rescues dogs in her like spare time. She's
Gotta love her.
wonderful.
I love
She's
that
the
about
best.
her.
Gotta love her. And it looks like something went right for this record-breaking play.
I knew that was going to be what you said.
I know.
Yes, the play that goes wrong over at the Lyceum Theater has recouped. It recouped its $4 million investment. It began previews at that theater on March 9th and opened on April 2nd. It is Broadway's longest-running play. We just talked about
Of
this
last year?
It was it last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year.
last year, 2017.
2017,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It will conclude its run at the Lyceum Theater on January 6, 2019, but don't
Maybe.
fret because the national tour, maybe, who
Because
knows?
they announced it was
they announced it
closing
was closing,
earlier.
and then they
Yeah.
decided that they were going to stick
Maybe.
around, so maybe. But
Yeah.
the national tour for sure launches this September in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and is going all over the country. Fantastic show. I love that show. Produced by J.J. Abrams. Isn't that
Can't go wrong.
amazing?
Can't go wrong.
Directed by Mark Bell. Such a good show. Yes. Way to go.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining
My
us,
pleasure.
Ryan.
It was so much
We
fun.
are now going to make room for a Broadway star we love, Lisa Brescia. Hey, Caitlin, why don't you tell us more about Lisa?
Of course. Guys, we have Lisa Brescia in the studio with us today. She's currently starring as Heidi Hansen and Dear Evan Hansen. She previously has been on Broadway in Wicked, Mamma Mia, Jesus Christ Superstar, The Woman in White. She's been in a ton of stuff, but this is her first show in over 10 years because she's been busy being part of the acting faculty at Missouri State University's acclaimed Department of Theater and Dance. She has been a busy woman, but she is back on Broadway where she belongs. Be sure to leave all of your questions in the comments down below. Please welcome Paul and Lisa.
Hi, Lisa Brescia. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
it's great to see you. Thanks
the
for
last
having
time,
me on.
The last time I saw you on Broadway, you were slaying the role of Donna Sheridan.
Yeah,
In Mamma Mia.
Yeah, actually, it's weird because I just finished that in 2012, so it's really only just a little over 6 years ago that I
Right.
was
Oh, 6
on
years
Broadway.
ago.
But
Well,
yeah,
people get very obsessed with like, it's interesting as actors because you've worked a lot and you've been doing shows all over the place.
Yes.
But when you're not doing it on Broadway, people get very like, well, she's on Broadway
it feels
now.
like forever.
But for you, you're just like always working and always slang.
Oh,
Always slang
thanks.
in
Thanks
different
a lot.
in different stages.
I'm having the time of my life, a ball at that place. The
So-
Music Box is a very happy place right now.
Yeah. So how does
For
it
me.
feel to be back on Broadway? This is a great role, Heidi Hansen.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel Bay Jones just left the show.
Yes.
And now you're your mom.
I am. I'm
You're-
one of
you're
the
Evan's
moms.
mom.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How's it going? You're a few weeks
It's-
into the run.
It's great. I just finished my second week, and I feel like she's going to be somebody I discover week after week after week after week. I'm getting a lot of great guidance from the creative team. They're leaving me alone a little bit. They're giving me guidance. It's just like the most amazing group of people. The music team. I mean, what? As Alex Lacamoire and Ben Cohn, and of course Michael Greif is very hands-on. So I'm
Yep.
getting a lot of, and his associate directors. It's sort of like a master class in how to direct a show in terms of the kind of guidance I'm getting. It's very actor friendly. They're letting me find my Heidi while still like being like, well, that completely worked. Thank you very much, Rachel Bay Jones. You're a genius, and I'm going to borrow that from you and see if that can fit into my bones as well. And so I just feel very supported by everybody there. And what's really cool is last Tuesday we had our first show without any of the originating Broadway cast members.
Yeah, I was thinking that it must be that point.
Yeah, because we had a couple of people away. Jennifer and Michael were both away
Okay.
on Tuesday night, and so we were able to sort of just see how the show lived and breathed with new people and see, oh my gosh, the writing is so exceptional that there's nothing to worry about. Like, we're just taken care of by this, the genius book and score of this show. We're so lucky.
When did you first get to experience the show as an audience member?
Just a few months before the Tonys of last year, before they won, and Randy Graff, you may know her,
Yes, of
Tony-winning actress. She and I went together and just sat there, and she turned to me at the intermission and was like, "It's a great part for you, by the way," And I was like, "Well, we'll see what happens. I'm a professor now. Who knows?" We just both dug it, and we're just in awe of the performances and the writing. And so that was April of last year. And then I came in as a vacation cover last summer and got to play both moms for 2 performances each. So I got
I didn't know you got to
cool.
play both.
yeah, I did. I had 2 performances as Cynthia, and then a few weeks later I had a couple performances of Heidi, and I just loved them both. I fell in love with both of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know that.
That's interesting that you can play both. They're very different women.
Couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Loved them both. I fell in love. I was like, hey, I'm happy either way. And, and I had no agenda. So I felt really, just in terms of, I think in this business, we always sort of have to be thinking ahead. Like, well, maybe if I make an investment in this will pay off down the line. As an actor, you sort of have to always be thinking and hustling to a degree. And because I didn't really have to do that because of my position on faculty, I was just free to play.
Yeah.
And it's liberating in a way to sort of be free of any agenda and just have the artistic experience. And so, then I got the surprising news that this invitation was coming, and I couldn't have been more excited and surprised and pleased.
So when you first went on as Heidi last year, who was your Evan Hansen?
I had Michael Lee Brown and at the time Colton Ryan, because Ben was out to just rest his voce, which is understandable. But I did the show with Ben twice when I was on for Cynthia.
Oh, okay.
So we got to work together, and
Cool.
I think he's one of the most generous actors on stage that I've ever worked with in terms of just the energy and the love and the support coming across the stage from him. The entire cast is like that, but I was like, okay, Ben Platt, I see you. I see you being brilliant. And just fell in love with him and everybody.
And now you get to do So Big, So Small is like one of the most moving scenes ever written for a Broadway musical, in my humble opinion.
Yes.
IMHO. Some people say that H means honest. I go with humble. And now you're doing it with Taylor Trench.
Right?
How is it? What is it like developing that relationship and sort of going there emotionally every night? And how is that scene going? How's the couch scene?
The couch scene is tremendous. I've been doing it. I've done it with how many Evans now? I mean, there was Taylor. There's Michael Lee Brown as the alternate. Yep. Stephen Anthony. I went on with him once. I've been rehearsing with Stephen. Last year I rehearsed with Michael, and so and Colton, and so I've been on with 4 Evans. Taylor and I have I feel like I look like I could be his mom also, and he's just a tremendous actor. I'm sure you hear this all the time. He is such a great listener on stage, and everything that happens, whether it's spit that flies out of my mouth and hits him on the shoulder and he notices it, or I banged my knee on the couch the other night and he was like, "Oh, you banged your knee. Are you all right?" I had a tear come down. He reached over and did that during the song. And so, I mean, he makes it easy. He's really heaven, and they all are. And so they're just like holding me in their hands out there, helping me find my Heidi in the most beautiful way. And you know what? In terms of the emotional ride that it is, I just want to mention, Whitney Bashor is going to be reprising the role I did in Ordinary Days.
Yeah.
I did that at the Roundabout Underground, and that too was an emotional roller coaster.
That was like the premiere of it, right?
Yeah. And so I have
You're
Adam.
OG, as they say.
What is that? I'm so
Original.
Gangsta?
No, just like original. OG.
That's right. Oh my God, Whitney's gonna slay it. But I love the writing. That kind of writing that Adam did, and that Pasek and Paul and Stephen have done with this show. It just takes care of us as actors.
Yeah.
We kind of have to just get out of the way to a great degree. And it's not about us, it's about the story. And as long as we keep that in mind, we really can't mess it up too bad.
How are the Dear Evan Hansen fans?
They're great.
Yeah.
They're super generous. I found at the stage door, they're just really lovely and positive and enthusiastic. And, I'm sure they have great devotion for the original company, but from what I've seen, they're very welcoming and generous with us. So
what was your show when you were a kid? Like, what was the show that you would have been obsessed with?
Les Mis.
Yes.
And I saw it on Broadway when I was 17 from Wisconsin. I came here from Wisconsin and saw some Broadway shows. And Randy Graff was Fontaine, and I remember
Now you're going to see Dear Evan Hansen with her.
Right? How crazy is that? And I remember sitting in the audience and saying, whatever she's doing, that's what I want to do. I'll probably never be able to do that because my self-esteem is in the crapper. But I was 17. Whose isn't, right? So, but I was like just enamored of her and the show. And then years later, we worked together and became very, very close friends. So it's very full circle. But Les Mis, I was obsessed with the book, and then I saw the show, and I don't know.
You were obsessed with the book before the musical?
Yeah,
Really?
I was one of those. I had just
Wow,
read the
that's
book.
so highbrow. I didn't know it until they sang it to me.
It was an English class. Like we had to required reading. Victor Hugo, read this book, and I was obsessed with the book. And then I saw the show, and I was just done.
How crazy is your life, though, that you sit in the audience and you're getting obsessed with this actress playing Fontaine, and now she's sitting next to you saying, you should play that role. Look at your life. That's nuts.
It's crazy. It's a miracle. Very full circle. Yeah, she's one of my nearest and dearest, and we live in the same building in New Jersey, which is even more weird and wonderful.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that information. I love picturing that building.
Yeah, we say, I just call her and like, Ethel, it's Lucy. What are you doing?
You were Donna Sheridan a long time, weren't you?
Yeah, it was close to 2 years.
Yeah, you were fantastic.
Thank you.
I feel like you were there for like one of the anniversaries or one of the record. I was there
10th
one night.
anniversary.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember it was Bloomberg came out and then
Yeah.
made it Mamma Mia Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
really
was
fun.
great. I also saw your Amneris.
Oh my gosh, we're
in
going
Aida.
back.
That was amazing.
2004.
I feel like that show's gonna come back any minute.
Oh, I hope so.
Can't you picture that
It's
coming
so
back like any
beautiful.
minute? It
Yeah.
seems like Aida's gonna be like tomorrow we're gonna announce that Aida's coming
I
back.
hope
I
so.
hope so.
Yeah.
Who do you want to play Amneris
I don't know.
and Aida?
I don't know. You have to dreamcast it.
Well, we'll have to think about it.
Yeah, you'll have to maybe you'll direct it
Let's. Oh,
in your spare time.
that'd be nice. We'll just steal everything from Bob Falls.
So what is it like when you look at as the actress you are now, when you step into a Broadway show and now you're back on Broadway doing this amazing role, when you think about young Lisa Brescia,
Oh God.
what
Oh my God.
what is it like now? Are you more chill about your career and things, or like just talk like where's your head at now about everything, and what were you like back then?
I was a nut job. I was a head case. You know, I came to New York at 18 with $300, low self-esteem, and a no plan. You know, so I don't recommend that to anyone.
But it worked pretty well.
You
but-
know, I found my way, and I feel like I just had helpers along the way, people who just took care of me at an office job where they were like, we're scared for this girl, we need to hire her and give her benefits, you know? And, you know, put myself through school and you know, just got so much support. And I really didn't know that I was going to make a living in this business. I didn't know that it was possible for me. But along the way, I just found the right teachers, I found the right mentors, the right friends. You know, made some terrible dating mistakes, you know, went into temporary emotional comas, you know, all kinds of things, all kinds of mistakes that we're supposed to make. And the other day I was doing a crossover, which was really a cross under the stage, going from leaving the stage up to the dressing room and the music box. And I've always wanted to have love in my life in a good partnership. I've always wanted to be an educator or give back and give service in some meaningful way. And I've always wanted to play great roles and make something that matters in terms of an artistic life. And I was walking past the sound guy under there, and I went, I think all my dreams have come true. And he looked, you know, he kind of glanced my way like, what's happening? But
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
said
you
that?
know what? I said
Did
it
you
out
say it
loud.
out
I kind
loud?
of said it to
All my dreams
myself,
come
but he
true.
was like, okay. But no, I think we smiled at each other. But I just think that life is full of miracles if we just keep showing up and we do our jobs well and we treat people well. Life has a way of giving back and rewarding us in ways which are beyond our wildest dreams. And
What is particularly fantastic about Heidi, and what are you really loving about playing this woman?
oh, she's so imperfect and tries so hard. You know, she's always trying her best, and she's got to be exhausted. I mean,
Right.
the working full time as a nurse's aide and then like paralegal school and a son, single mom, and consistently, I think she is still stuck at the beginning of the show and throughout until perhaps maybe the end, where she's sort of just living in a shame-based place in her life, where, you know, shame is like a default, where she goes to like feeling like a real big screw up. And she just says, can I do anything right? And who hasn't been there, you know?
Right.
I think we can all identify with that. And yeah, she keeps trying. And what I really love about So Big, So Small is that at the end of this journey where her son is just like hopeless, she's able to kind of rise to the occasion and show up for him in a way and be a comfort to him and really connect with him, which has been like, they've been like this for a long time, or
Yeah.
at least recently in the course of the telling of the story. And so to me, it feels like, it leaves him in a hopeful place. Like, I'm going to survive this. I'm going to get through this. And so I really love that moment. And I love that before then, there's just such a sense of shame, you know, like, am I going to ever do anything right?
Right.
And yet she keeps on trying and she keeps on showing up and she doesn't just throw in the towel. And I think we all can identify with that. I feel like I identify with that. There have been times when I'm like, you know what, I shouldn't have left the house today, you know, but
Stay in bed.
I shouldn't leave the house. I shouldn't have left the house. Socially, everything's going awry, or I said the wrong thing, or, you know, messed up, or...
I love Heidi, and I would actually be down for a Heidi Hansen prequel.
Oh yeah.
Like her at 20. Why don't you get on that Pasek, Paul, and Levinson in your spare time? I know, I'd be into that.
In their spare time, my
In their spare
gosh.
time.
Yeah, they should. They should get on it.
Yeah.
That I wonder who would be casting. I'm always casting like other people. Like who would we
Yeah.
cast as Heidi in the prequel?
I don't know. You work
think
on
about
that. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun casting call. Hey, Caitlin, what are the fans saying? What are the questions coming in?
Yes. So, wait, I just had it. Okay, Alec wants to know if Rachel gave you any advice for playing Heidi.
She helped me a lot with the technical side of things, but she really gave me a lot of space in order to find my own interpretation of this character. She's very generous that way, and I think that she probably knows instinctively, like, you don't want to infringe on someone's artistic process.
Yeah.
And so she's a gem, and don't get me wrong, though, there are a lot of things about her performance that I'm like, that really, really works for me, too, and I'm going to be borrowing that or stealing that. But it has to come from within me, and I think she knew that. But she did give me some just, like, practical advice about it, and before she left, she said, I really want to talk to you because you got to remember it's not real. This isn't real. And I think that there's something about this shame-based, you know, like I've noticed since playing Heidi, I'm picking at my cuticles on my hands because I'm feeling her, you know, just discomfort.
Wow.
You know, so I'm like, okay, Lisa, you got to knock it off. But I don't really feel like I maybe should knock it off because it's very her, you know, to sort of, at least for my Heidi, you know, just trying to show up. And for me, it's manifesting in this little, like, cuticle picking. But she did say, remember, it's not real. And that has, I think, been really, really helpful advice, you know, that we'll see how nuts I am 6 months in, you know, just, you know. But I don't think my mental health that I've accumulated over my years, decades, is all that useful to me in this role. I need to tap into something that's decades old and that probably lives within all of us.
But you also have to escape it when
I
it's
have to.
done.
Yeah, I have to remember. You know, my mental health will serve me in my life, and not necessarily in the role all that much.
Yes.
Right.
Totally. Another question is, how did you approach playing Heidi when you were a vacation swing versus now that you're doing it like full time?
Yeah, well, that was a whirlwind. I had 2 weeks of rehearsal. I had just come off playing Cynthia. So obviously the process was just more accelerated. And it felt more like I am keeping this story told well without making it wholly my own. There just wasn't time for that. So it has been very different this time around, just with being given a lot of freedom to risk, fail, risk again, find her for myself. And so that's the difference. I was talking about this with Mallory as well, who's just come on as Zoe, that she and I did the same thing last summer. So we both feel a lot more artistic freedom this time around.
Do you do karaoke?
I wish I did. Do you want to do it together?
No.
Yes.
But you're like an amazing rock and roll singer, so I want to know like what your go-to like singing stuff is. Like,
I think a little Janice. I did Hunter Bell, you know, of Title of Show. He and I did some karaoke together back in 2000 in Springfield, actually in Little Rock, Arkansas, I think.
Random.
Yeah, 18 years ago, and I got up and did some Janice and won the contest that day.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember if he got up or not, but I just remember being nervous. It's so weird. You can
never sing next to you.
I love to rock it out. I do.
Yes, I know. I've seen it.
Amazing. Let's do one more question. And Jacob asked, was there a favorite song from Dear Evan Hansen when you saw it versus now that you're in it?
You know, gosh, what a hard question. I remember sitting there going, yeah, every single song that's coming on is really, really good. I loved For Forever. I think that really struck me. Just something about it. Perhaps it was in the performance of it as well as the writing, but I remember seeing Evan comfort himself by starting to believe in this lie, spoiler alert, and so finding some comfort, and I think I was swept away in that moment. But every single song that came up, I just kept going, wow, that was another really great song. And the confession scene as well. It's almost not a. It's the most non-song like song in the show, with the least rhyme and structure like that. But I remember just barely able to breathe, and everybody around me, we were all just breathing together, barely.
I can't wait to go see that show.
Yeah.
With you in it.
Oh,
I need to go
thanks.
see it. I want
Come
to see
see
like
it.
the new cast. I'm into it. I love it. It's fun to see a
Thanks.
show sort of live on and grow and different talents come into it. And
Yeah, it's got to be like an amoeba that breathes and
Yeah.
shifts. And I just want to say we appreciate you, and the community appreciates what
Thank-
you do here, because you guys truly love theater and you
we
support
do.
us
Everyone that works here loves
unconditionally.
Broadway. We love doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, Lisa
welcome.
Brescia. How nice.
So sweet.
Turning the attention on us.
Yeah, we appreciate
Never.
you.
Aw, thank you so much. Everyone, go see Lisa Brescia as Heidi Hansen and Dear Evan Hansen at the Music Box Theater. You know where it is. You've probably stage doored. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Hey, Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in at Live at 5. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to all of our interviews in podcast form by searching hashtag Live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. We do not have Live at 5 the rest of the week, but be sure to tune in next week.